With Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets down, a lot of investors are asking what is the best crypto to invest in now, and I'm going to give you the quintessential Nomad Capitalist answer on where I'd put my money and how I would invest. The answer to the best crypto really depends on who you are, and one of the things that I really teach you here is that there is no best. People say, hey, what's the best passport? People say, hey, what's the best place to move? I mean, it really depends on your situation. I'll talk about that more in a moment. If it's your first time here, my name is Andrew Henderson, the founder of Nomad Capitalist. We're a boutique consultancy that helps 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors, including crypto investors, who want to legally reduce their taxes, diversify and protect their assets, and increase their options and their freedom with things like second passports. I'm also the host of the biggest and best offshore conference called Nomad Capitalist Live, which is open to anyone. And so if you're Max Kaiser, who is going to be speaking at Nomad Capitalist Live, then it's Bitcoin, full stop. If you're Vitalik Buterin, who we interviewed many, many years ago, it's perhaps Ethereum. If you're many of our clients, it could be all Bitcoin. It could be a basket of different cryptocurrencies, different altcoins. It could be you're all in on Hex. I mean, we've seen it all, and we don't judge. And so I think that everyone is kind of looking for, when they say, what's the best crypto to buy now, they want someone to do the research for them. And in my perspective, you have to figure out what works for you. One of the paradigms that I think exists is certain people are entrepreneurs, more so, and certain people are investors more than entrepreneurs. And so I think that you'll have a lot of entrepreneurs who think, hey, I'm great at running a business, I'm great at marketing, I'm great at sales, how hard can this investing be? And on the other side, you've got people who are investors who think, hey, how hard can it be to start a business? This is, anyone can do it, right? And so I think understanding which category you're in, there's some people who maybe not even as well suited to be investing. They should put their efforts back into reinvesting into their business, into starting the next thing, and that should be their investment. And so for them, maybe there is no best crypto. If you are someone who's investing in cryptos and you are investment driven, are you, as I am, more of a security person where you want certain stability, you want an inflation hedge? Okay, maybe you're more into to Bitcoin. Are you planning on holding forever? What's your long-term goal? Are you planning to make an investment for 6 months, 2 years, whatever the case may be? Is your goal yield? All those are questions that I would ask you if you were my client, and try to understand where you're coming from. Because whether it's a crypto investment, or whether it's any kind of investment, or whether it's a passport, or whether it's a bank, or whether it's a place to live, these are the kinds of questions that you have to ask to figure out what is the best for you. The best for you is going to be different than the best for someone else. So we need to stop asking what is the best? Where are you going? What's your exit plan? What's your hold time? For some people, there isn't an exit plan at all. They're just in, and they're like, you don't understand Bitcoin if you're trying to sell your Bitcoin for more dollars, right? And yet other people are like, no, I just want to sell some altcoins and make some money. Everyone is kind of avoiding this issue of what are your costs. And for me, the best crypto to buy isn't necessarily a particular crypto, it's a particular strategy of giving yourself the best chance of success, what that looks like and where that is. And so right now, as I'm sitting here, you have Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptocurrencies which are down. They've called it the crypto crash. It's all over Twitter. People are saying it's a bear market. And so whatever you think, prices are substantially down. So whatever it is that you decide you're going to buy, take advantage of the fact that if you were to buy Bitcoin at, let's say, $35,000, and you were to leave your country, if you're an American, that would mean moving to Puerto Rico, potentially expatriating. Maybe you have some kind of business that your cryptocurrency could be part of in some smaller number of circumstances. If you are not an American, it's a matter of leaving your country, you can buy that Bitcoin at $35,000. You can buy that altcoin for $1 or 12 cents or whatever. You can go to a tax-friendly country, and then when that asset doubles in value, you will have protected the most value, and you will have, therefore, in my opinion, made a much better investment than, hey, what's the best currency? I want to double my money. I want a high yield. I want, whatever. Understand that, doubling your money in Dubai or the Cayman Islands or any tax-friendly or any crypto-friendly jurisdiction that has a tax incentive or a tax exemption or zero tax or no tax on foreign properly structured assets is going to be superior to the same return in the US, in the UK, in Australia, even in a country like Germany where they have had exemptions on taxes on certain crypto holdings, but are constantly talking about how they want to get rid of those. Those two are not equal. Okay. One of them is you're going from $35,000 to $70,000, just hypothetical return. You've got $35,000, but if they're taking 30% of that, you've really only gone to $59,500. You haven't achieved the full return that someone who thought in advance did. What I see far too many times is people are focused on what's the best return rather than what's the best long-term strategy. Everyone's focused on the best, which to me almost kind of speaks to like, again, I don't want to do the research. I just want to like, what's the smart thing to do? Somebody tell me. And it doesn't really take into account any of the factors. And so whatever the best crypto you're looking for, figure out where you want to be when you have that exit. Also figure out where you want to be as the world and the landscape of the world changes. So you have things like in the United States right now and other Western countries, talk of an unrealized capital gains tax, talk of a wealth tax. That's already the case in some countries, in Europe, for example. And so if you're going to hold an asset, people say, I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin ever, I will just borrow against it. What happens when there's an unrealized capital gains tax? Maybe you would have wished you would have been somewhere else because now you're going to be locked into a tax system that maybe kind of creeps up on you and only gives you a few weeks to move, and you can't move in that amount of time. So you would have wanted to be proactive and been out of your country before new tax rules come into effect. The thing with crypto in particular, obviously any investment, whether it's a business, whether it's a stock market investment, anything, you don't really know how it's going to perform. I mean, especially in crypto, you have a lot of volatility. And so in my opinion, you don't want to be playing guessing games of like, here's when I think it's going to triple and I'm going to want to move for tax before it triples. You don't necessarily know when that's going to happen. And so the best crypto to buy is one where you are well positioned to enjoy the gains on that in a changing tax environment where things like simply borrowing against your crypto is going to fall out of favor in countries where politicians are against wealth, politicians are potentially against cryptocurrency, they want to regulate against it, they want to impose new taxes on it, they want to make your life more difficult. And so that's the best crypto to buy. The other best crypto to buy is like understand the regulatory environment where you're investing. And if politicians are going to make it more difficult, they're going to make it more difficult to sell, they're going to make it more difficult to use in commerce, whatever the case may be, they're going to put restrictions on new disclosure requirements or whatever it may be. You're seeing that now. Just saw an article recently about how Estonia is cracking down. And I'm not saying that there's no room for any regulation, but a lot of these countries will over-regulate, and that can have a negative impact on how you use that crypto. And so being somewhere where you believe not only the tax framework is right, but the regulatory framework is right, people don't understand that like you can't just accumulate a bunch of money and then say, hey, I'm going to leave my country and they're not going to tax me. It's like, no, not in every case, but in many cases, they're going to say, great, what's the unrealized gain you had? And once you pay the tax on that, then you're out of our system. But you earned that unrealized gain while you were here. And so we'll let you go, but you've got to pay that. And then so if you need to pay that, there becomes a whole strategy, which is what we help people do with our various CPAs and attorneys. But like, it becomes a whole strategy of how do I pay that tax? When do I pay that tax? And this, I'm not giving you tax advice here, but understanding like, now I'm going to have to sell some of that, even though I didn't want to sell it. But if I want to leave the country to protect myself from capital gains tax on future capital gains from where I'm at now, or if I have crypto that's giving me a yield and I want to protect myself on that yield or staking, whatever the case may be, like I have to pay to get out of that basically. And I don't want to have to sell my assets and create an opportunity cost to then move out when I could have just moved out earlier in the game. And so if you are buying a crypto, think of where the geography that you're in is going to have an impact on that investment, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whatever it may be in the years to come.